I'm a Detroit kid, and when you grow up in Detroit, you're surrounded by it. My grandfather, my mother's father, was a manufacturing rep. I mean, he represented parts suppliers and would call on the automakers to sell the services. Well, for me, it was like a duck to water. It just was so natural. But when I would get plant tours, I was fascinated at the technology of how you can take this piece of stainless steel bar and machine it down to a very intricate, highly precise component. It was like art. It was like an art form. When I went to school, into college, I went for public relations and advertising. And then I had an opportunity to get into industrial advertising, and it was with something called the Thomas Register of American Manufacturers. Back in the day, if you were doing a keyword search, you were paging through a yellow page. Directories were keyword-based. It just was a very structured keyword scenario with a noun and a modifier. And then with the digitization of data and information and sourcing, you could type in anything. They called it Boolean back then, but you could just query it with natural language. And that was amazing. And they would first do it with CD-ROMs. It was fun. We were at the cutting edge of it. We were at the beginnings of everything. My transition to the internet was so seamless. As soon as there was a browser, a graphical user interface, a tool to render HTML code, it exploded. Because then the creativity kicked in of people in creating websites. There had to be a way, though, to source these websites and to source the content on the web. So you saw some of the early search engines like Excite, AltaVista, Lycos, and then Yahoo. Yahoo was the #1 search engine for a long time. I started hearing about Google in the very late 90s. But when it really took off in my world was about 2002, 2003, when they introduced pay-per-click advertising. It completely revolutionized it, and that's when the world changed for me. It was like, okay, this is gonna be a huge change. As it was proved to them that this is a totally legitimate and cost-effective way to put you in front of the marketplace of people looking for what you do at the precise moment they realize the need to look for someone. We're going to serve you up. It really started taking off after that. And there's a lot of digital marketing firms out there who will say, oh, you don't have to do anything, we'll do it all. And that's just not true. I'm sorry, it's not true. You have to partner with a digital marketing firm and collaborate with them really on content and analysis. And, you need to impart knowledge on them about what's new in the industry. What are you doing new? How do we mine data and together and look at what is this telling us? And how do we put that knowledge into play now and test and measure going forward? It's magical thinking that a lot of not just industrial marketers, but others have, who just expect it to happen. And it's not, it's hard work. You have to apply the correct budgets and you have to collaborate. To this day, I've even had some marketers say, I want less content on my site. And I say, you are not thinking about this the right way. It's how the content's structured. Maybe that's it. If you think your site is too wordy, then your site is just not structured properly. It's got to be the right content, but you're never done creating content. The content the web never sleeps, and it's always looking for new content to match up with a query. That's why this Be-Smart method that was developed through TopSpot and OuterBox is so relevant, and it's distilled down to brand, size, material, application, requirement, and type. And this is how, in-market buyers query. If you apply that filter to the way you think about keyword content development, you're going to come out ahead. You know, I felt, an obligation to pass on as much institutional knowledge as I could to the next generation of marketers, and so excited to do that. I mean, it was very energizing to kind of show them what a strong manufacturing economy means to helping create a strong and stable middle class. I wanted the top spotters and outer boxers to realize the importance of that, and that being an industrial marketer is something to wear as a badge of honor. And so I felt this intense obligation to pass that knowledge on to our outer boxers and top spotters, and to be proud of that, because I've always been so proud of it. Sales is a process of learning. You're always learning. And the great salespeople are the ones who ask continuous questions, and one question can lead to three others. Also, reading industry magazines, so you just have to be a voracious reader, and then someone who's just naturally can engage in conversation with people who know. You just have to, when you're head down and trying to run your business, sometimes you got to stick your head up and meet with people and read things and try to understand what are the newest things available to you to help you grow your business. Because you can't rely on the old traditional methods all the time. You have to adopt and test and fund. You got to fund it. A lot of people think they don't have to fund innovation. You got to fund innovation. That's what I would say to them.